All right, let's talk about something that is a constant headache for pretty much every software team out there. Finding the right test data. But we're not just going to complain about the problem today. Nope. We're going to dive into a really cool, genuinely new solution that uses AI to get you the exact data you need way, way faster than you ever thought possible.
So, let me just ask you this. How many times have your automated tests failed? You spent hours, maybe, digging into the problem, pulling your hair out, only to realize the code was perfectly fine. It was the data that was wrong. If you are nodding your head right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you're in the right place.
Yeah, it's what we call the test data headache. It's this universal frustration. Trying to find the perfect piece of data to test your application can seriously feel like looking for a needle in a haystack. But why? Why is this so hard all the time? Well, these pain points probably look pretty familiar, right? Teams are often wrestling with this patchwork of different tools and scripts. Your tests are failing constantly, and it's not a code bug, it's a data bug. And then you've got data cannibalization, which is just a fancy way of saying one test messes up the data that another test needed. It all leads to these super brittle tests that rely on hard-coded values, and they break the second anything changes. It's just a mess.
So how do we fix this? Well, the solution really requires a fundamental shift in how we think about the problem. Instead of searching for a specific hard-coded value, like find customer ID 757, what if you could just describe the kind of data you need? We're moving from searching for specific values to searching for characteristics.
And this, right here, this gets to the absolute heart of it. Instead of telling the system, hey, give me this exact thing, you're telling it, give me something that looks like this. The moment you start using the characteristics of the data instead of hard-coded values, your tests become so much more flexible and way more resilient.
But, finding the data is really only half the battle. To stop that data cannibalization we were just talking about, you need something called data reservation. It's simple, really. Once the system finds data with the right characteristics, it locks it down just for your test. That means no more tests stepping on each other's toes, problem solved. Okay, this all sounds pretty great, right? But how does it actually work? I promise, it's not magic. It's all about building this intelligent foundation, a kind of brain that gets to deeply understand your entire data landscape.
So how does this system get so smart? Well, first off, it automatically scans and documents all of your data structures, the tables and columns. Then it goes even deeper, and it starts discovering all these hidden relationships between them, even if they're in different databases. And finally, it pieces all of that information together to build this incredible comprehensive map of your data.
And what you get from all that work is what we call a metadata dictionary. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like Google Maps, but for your data. It knows where everything is, it knows what it's called, and it knows exactly how it all connects. This map is the foundation that makes this whole intelligent, characteristic-based search even possible. Okay, so you've got this super smart map in place. Now, how do you actually ask for the data you need? Well, there are basically two ways: the traditional, structured way, and this revolutionary new approach that's powered by AI. Let's put them side by side. So on one hand, you have the traditional way, these rigid forms with predefined fields. They work, sure, but you have to know exactly what to click. On the other hand, you've got the AI-powered way, where you just ask a question, in plain English. The amazing thing is, the AI doesn't just match keywords, it actually understands your intent, and that makes the whole process incredibly intuitive and flexible. So let's picture the old way. You've got a form like this one. To find a male VIP customer for your test, you'd click a drop-down, select VIP, then another one, select M, and hit Submit. And yeah, it gets the job done. It'll find you some accounts, but you had to know exactly which fields and values to pick. It's pretty rigid.
But now, check out the new way. Instead of clicking through a form, you just type what you want, like this. Find me a customer with a gender of M, an account balance over 100, and an increasing credit score. You can even tell it how to sort the results. That's it. That is the entire request.
And this is where the real magic happens. That simple English sentence gets sent to the AI engine. And look at this. It correctly figured out that increasing credit score means the current score has to be greater than the prior score. It understood the sorting request. And then it automatically wrote the complex SQL query to find exactly what you asked for, all from one sentence.
So think about that. In just a matter of seconds, the AI understood your request, wrote the code,
ran the search across who knows how many tables, found the matching data, and then locked it down just for your test. The entire complex process, just handled by one simple sentence.
Now, this is way more than just a cool piece of tech. This kind of capability fundamentally changes how teams work. So let's talk about the real-world impact this has on your team and your projects.
I mean, the sheer scale of the improvement here is just staggering. A search that used to take hours of manual digging, that then got reduced to minutes with forms, now literally takes seconds with an AI query. This is a massive, massive acceleration of the entire testing process.
So, the first and most obvious benefit? Speed. Your testing just gets exponentially faster. All that time that used to be wasted just searching for data can now be spent actually building and testing new features.
Second, your automation becomes so much more stable and reliable. Because you're dynamically finding and reserving fresh data for every single run, you completely eliminate that whole class of frustrating data bugs from your life.
And finally, no more conflicts. With data reservation built in, all of your automated tests can run in parallel without ever interfering with each other. This really is the end of data contamination, for good.
So let's just sum it all up. What does this really mean for you? It means you accelerate your entire workflow, you get to eliminate those infuriating data-related bugs, and you stop test data contamination dead in its tracks. The bottom line, you get to build more reliable software much, much faster.
And that really brings us to our final thought. Just imagine for a second that the bottleneck of finding test data was completely gone. Just poof. If getting the perfect data for any test case was as simple as asking a question, what new features, what new possibilities would that unlock for you and your team? What would you build next?